Okay, so I want you all to know that the comment you just saw is the entire reason I'm making this video. This one motherfucker is the reason that I have spent the last 2 weeks doing nothing but make this goddamn video. Just so you all know, that was a joke. I haven't spent 2 weeks making this video. I've actually not been making many videos. I've kind of had a lot going on in my personal life, but here I am now and I'm gonna offer some goddamn solutions. So, to start out with, I think the best possible way to improve Rites of the Nine is to expand and implement new things to the Explorer mode. Now, the Explorer mode is a massive good thing for us and for people getting into the game and into raids. However, I have run probably 4 or 5 Explorer modes today, just catching up on my quests, and oh boy, do I have to tell you, some of these people in Explorer mode, they might not know what to do, but they're not even trying to learn. Like, straight up, they're just standing there shooting random things that I can't even fathom why you're shooting it. Like, I was doing Ghost of the Deep, and this man is shooting the water barrier that you jump in to go to the Hive Guardians in the final fight. I was just puzzled on why he was doing it. Even in this run that you're watching now, I absolutely was just doing everything, and the other two didn't really do much. And so my solution for this is to re-implement the old system from guided games. So, as many of you might remember, and a lot of you might not remember, guided games was Bungie's attempt at Fireteam Finder, except it was fucking terrible. And Bungie also just gave up on it after implementation. They never updated it, never came out of beta, and it was terrible. However, it did have this really cool feature where you could either queue up the matchmaking as a Sherpa, or I don't remember what the term was, but basically the learner. And I think this would be great in something like Explorer mode, because you could queue up as a Sherpa and you'd be paired with 2 learners and you can teach them how to do it. That way you don't have these situations where people are going in not reading the tooltips like they're meant to. Additionally, this could be a way to give people cool new titles, like Sherpa 3 people using Explorer mode in dungeons or something along those lines. I think that this is probably the best way to continue the implementation of Explorer mode, because I think it needs to stay around in dungeons at the very least. I don't think it belongs in raids, but in dungeons 100%. Now, for my second point, one of the big criticisms I had is how slowly they rolled out the dungeons and how they also had to adjust that, which was a massive fumble on Bungie's part. But also, the 3 dungeons we got outside of Spire didn't really need an update. Prophecy, maybe. Ghost of the Deep doesn't belong there. It's honestly the worst dungeon made. So what I propose is you update 9 dungeons out of the 10 that are currently in the game. That being the release order dungeons, excluding Sunder Doctrine. Simply put, Sunder Doctrine doesn't need an update. It just came out and it is great. However, Shattered Throne and Pit of Heresy could have used the update more. So what I propose Bungie have done instead is start week 1 Shattered Throne, you get your new loot and the new rolls and the guns, update the mechanics how they did, and I'll get into the other change that I'd make in this scenario in a second because it is my third point. But after that first week, Shattered Throne would stay around. You'd be able to play it at any point, which is something they should have done. They shouldn't be removing accessibility to these dungeons. In the second week, Pit of Heresy comes out. Same thing, updated mechanics, higher difficulty, and with some new loot. And this would go on until you have 9 dungeons. after all 9 dungeons are out, you would have 3 weeks of enhanced loot. So you'll just get more loot drops how we've been getting since the release of these dungeons. It would play into the whole 9 theme a little bit better. You'd see more dungeons get played with. You get Shattered Throne new guns, you get Duality new guns, you get all these guns that we had past updated to the current level and what I'm hoping will be the level going into the Edge of Fate. Now, for my third point, which I just spoke about, the unique rewards. One of the key things with Into the Light was that you would get unique emblems for each mode that you complete. You don't really get this in Rites of the Nine. So what I would propose is you have a tier system where you complete 5 dungeons on Ultimatum and it gives you an ornament. This ornament would be one of the Trials of the Nine armor sets. Now, people have wanted the Trials armor sets from Trials of the Nine back in the game forever because they do look amazing. However, I see why Bungie don't want to bring it back because the people who have it earned it through a difficult PvP mode and it should stay that way. So what I suggest is they re-implement the armor, however they do their little thing where they spruce it up and change it a bit, maybe give it some different effects and whatever else they want to do to make it look different. That way the old players retain the unique armor set and the new players get a cool new set to play with. Additionally, that way you could jump in at any point and just play 5 dungeons that you want to play to get the armor. You don't necessarily have to do Shattered Throne 5 times, which honestly, if I implemented this, I would say 5 unique dungeons, not 5 dungeons generally, because let's be real, if that was implemented, you just run 5 Shattered Thrones. Now, for my last point, I want to talk about the difficulty, because I did criticize Bungie's version of difficulty here, and that being just don't get hit, because that's all they do in their harder content. It is quite literally, don't get hit because everything one-shots you. I hate this. I understand why they do it because it's easier than giving us actual difficult content, but I hate it at the same time. So what I propose Bungie do is change it to a time system how they had Into the Light. That way, the quicker you get it done, the better your rewards are and the more points you get. This would make it more fun in my opinion. And so something like a death doesn't affect you in the same way that it does currently, because if you die once in Ultimatum currently, you kind of just wipe. There's no point to continue. You just give up and you go home and you just start again. So with the timers, it'll just work the same way Into the Light worked. And I feel like this would just be better generally, as well as it would entice people to learn the dungeons and be better at the dungeons and play them better and go do them faster. Ghost of the Deep would be a fucking pain in the ass because the jumping sections are bullshit in that, but you'd have in this scenario 8 other dungeons to pick from, and that is pretty much it for how I think they should improve Rites of the Nine. There are probably better ways that I haven't thought of. These are just my personal thoughts. I also want to make it clear I was going to do 5 reasons, but I couldn't think of a 5th reason. And then I thought, you know what? How about you all leave me a reason in the comment section below of how you would improve Rites of the Nine, at least a way that I haven't mentioned. Because I'm sure that there's some of you out there who are going to watch this video who can make a way better reason and way to run Rites of the Nine than I can. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you made it this far in the video, be sure to subscribe and I will see you in the next video. I'm not sure when it will be or what it will be, but I also do want to say when Edge of Fate comes out, I will be streaming on Twitch. Go into my description, go to my Twitch channel and click subscribe. I also paint a lot of Warhammer on there, so come cream over some minis with me.